This video, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 kind of weird vibrational hacks, things that I do that raise my vibration instantly. I think if you apply these in your life, it'll do the same for you. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'll be sharing with you those 3 kind of weird vibrational hacks that will help you to raise your vibration instantly. First off, if you haven't heard me talk about vibration before, I normally do so with this little chart right here. This chart is the chart of consciousness. And on it, it's called the map of consciousness. And on it, you'll see different vibrational states of consciousness. You'll see that at the bottom of shame, fear, guilt, anger, willingness. I've seen this. I've done so many videos with it, I kind of remember. And then eventually you'll see neutrality. Then you'll see reasoning, which is the intellect of the mind. And then you'll see that of love, joy, peace, enlightenment. So every single person has a dominant set point to where their vibration is. And when people are angry, they see through the lens of reality of anger. They'll see other people that make them angry. They'll see situations and find things on the news that make them angry. That's the lens through which they see the world. Somebody's of the consciousness of love, they will find love in everything. Even when things most people wouldn't consider to be love, they will see love there. When we talk about these different states, understand as well that not just we calibrate at a certain frequency, and it comes from a book called Power versus Force by Dr. David Hawkins. And what he talks about is these different states and how you use muscle testing, which is connected to the subconscious mind, to test these statements. And the body will either go strong or go weak for different things. Now, some examples would be you could calibrate different activities, you could calibrate different people, different places on earth. I'm going to Tulum. Leo and I are going to Tulum, and Tulum's in Mexico, and it's a very spiritual place, and it has a vibration of about 450, which is pretty high. The US is about, on average, 400 as a place. Most of the planet is actually is right around 200. And when we're talking about states of consciousness, what's happening right now is there's this shift in consciousness happening on the planet where many people have access to higher vibrational states of consciousness. They always have access to it, but they have more an ability, more of a dominant push to go in a certain direction. Now, in general, you could think of it as well. So alcohol resonates at like 175 to 200-ish. There are different vibrations, you know, that's coffee, I forget what coffee, green tea I think is at like 300 it resonates at. You could talk about that of classical music calibrates in the 400, heavy metal rock music resonates under 200 I believe. Rap music, most rap music that's talking about like materialism and stuff like that normally resonates under 200. These things, there's a vibrational resonance with everything in our life, and our environment is constantly triggering us to a certain level of consciousness. The news resonates normally under 200, so it's constantly pulling us into a lower state of consciousness. So that's why it's important to be aware of what you're paying attention to, because your environment and the people you're around are keeping you and almost adding to that vibration to which you are in. So the first step to this whole process is becoming aware. When you become aware of your consciousness, your state of consciousness, and how you feel the majority of the time, and then you look to your external environment, you will notice certain things. You'll notice that certain things keep you bogged down. I know for me, especially years ago, I could see that there were a lot of things I was doing. One thing I was doing is I was taking Adderall back in 2012, Adderall for ADHD. It would help me focus, but I eventually learned that Adderall resonates very low on the scale because Adderall is a form of methamphetamine. It's the legal, prescription drug doctor they give to people, but it keeps people very focused in dopamine, but it's a very low vibrational pharmaceutical. And then you might look to that of even weed, for example, which is something that I did on the other side of that, because the side effects of Adderall, you didn't eat very much, you didn't sleep very much. Well, what are the side effects of weed? Well, you're gonna eat good, you're gonna sleep good. So for a year or two, I smoked very often. And what happened is, eventually, I realized that and saw the calibration of weed is right at about 300, 350, which isn't that low necessarily, but once you raise your vibration, most people that watch my videos, your natural set point is going to be higher than 350. When you do it, it's going to bring you back down. And it's going to bring your vibration down. Now, I'm sure that you use it with the right intention, then maybe that's not the case. But in general, the reason I'm sharing this with you is because when you start to focus on raising your vibration, there will be certain things that you see aren't as vibrationally compatible as they used to be. And for me, drinking and smoking are things that I don't do anymore, because when I do them, it actually brings my vibration down. Our natural set point is meant to be that of unconditional love, joy, peace. And we tap more into that the more we work through our own emotional things, and the more we let go of things that are of a lower vibration. So everything is vibration. Even movies calibrate at certain vibrations. I'd imagine that Christopher Nolan movies like Inception or Interstellar most likely resonate over 400. And then you have movies that resonate very low, like Alien vs. Predator or something, which probably resonate at like 100 or 200. Horror movies, very, very low. Keeps your vibration, it keeps you focused on low vibrational things, which lowers your vibration. Now, in this video, I'm going to share with you my 3 vibrational hacks that I've read and I've learned from especially different books by Dr. David Hawkins. He talks about some of this, and some of this makes sense to me. Let me show you. So, there's this one book that is called Autobiography of a Yogi, which I've shared many times before. That book calibrates in the 600s, very high vibrational book. The book Autobiography of a Yogi is a book about Paramahansa Yogananda's journey through enlightenment and his first-hand account of the gurus he met, these people that could do literally magical things these people could do. And what these people could do is they could make objects appear instantly. Some of them could teleport. They could send messages telepathically. And they could do this because they were of such a high vibration that they were able to do things that we would consider to be impossible. And Paramahansa Yogananda shares in his experience what that was like. And he had one of his gurus' name was Sri Yukteswar. Sri Yukteswar was an enlightened guru who was in a way his mentor. And then what I realized happened now that I was reading the book and I've been learning about the, really going deep with the levels of consciousness, is what happens when someone has a guru is, in a way, especially because he was so devoted and he was so devoted to Sri Yukteswar, who was like this embodiment of the divine, which we are all embodiment of the divine, it's just he was very self-realized with it. What happens is, by him being around Sri Yukteswar, his energy field began to eventually resonate with it. So understand that when you're around certain people, you're resonating with their energy field, whether you're aware of it or not. Now, for example, when reading one of the books by Dr. David Hawkins, I forget which book it was, but he says and talks about how many people that have these enlightened gurus, their energy links to that person's energy field, and they begin to then, like a tuning fork, resonate with it. So that helps them in the path to enlightenment. So this is one of the hacks that I do. Now, I do not worship Paramahansa Yogananda. I do not worship, I see these things as a reflection of the divine. Because in the books by Dr. David Hawkins, what he shows is that when we are holding in our mind some enlightened person or some high vibrational person, when we hold some high vibrational person in our mind and we're paying attention to them, it's raising our own frequency as well. Our body goes strong. It gives us something to resonate with, even if we're not physically there. So something I do, I'm in my little sacred space right now. So something I do, it's not that I am worshiping Paramahansa Yogananda, but what I do is I focus on him and I recognize the divine within me that is also the divine within Paramahansa Yogananda, because I think that he embodied that very well. So this is Paramahansa Yogananda. So when I meditate, will sometimes stare at this image and resonate and see the reflection of the divine within myself, and I feel like I take on some of the spiritual qualities of somebody that I do that too. That's a lot of times why people do this. It's not that they're worshiping them. They recognize the divine within them, and that divineness within them allows them to then resonate with that energy field. So that might sound like a kind of weird energy hack, especially because I don't necessarily worship it. or that person or that level of consciousness, I just recognize the divineness within myself, and I choose to take qualities on like him. He was a very selfless person. He was somebody that had this strong intention of adding value, and he very much allowed the divine to flow through him. And in a similar way, I have similar intentions. I want as much as I can to allow this energy to flow through me. And the way you do that is by not having the ego be involved and giving it up to this divine energy. So also, if you want to know more, by the time this video goes up, the Shift Experience will have been launched, and there'll be a webinar you can watch where I show how these enlightened gurus raise their level of consciousness so that they could then do these magical things, and how you can also shift your level of consciousness. So for the Shift webinar, what you can do is you can click right in the top of the description box below, and you can watch that. And you can learn all about how to go about that. And I share SHIFT, which is the process for the Shift Experience. And I share with you exactly how you can shift your level of consciousness. Plus, there's a live meditation in there as well, where you can hit into the heart center and really transform your level of consciousness. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and click on the link in the top of the description box below. Now, that's my first kind of weird vibrational technique or a hack. And it's allowed me to raise my frequency. I do that. I also very much pay attention to what am I watching. There was a time when I was watching a lot of certain person's vlogs on YouTube, but I realized that when I do that, I'd have weird dreams. It wasn't necessarily the highest vibration. So eventually what I decided to do was to stop watching them, because I knew it was bringing my frequency down. Whether we realize it or not, all of these things are influencing our frequency. Now there's something else, that certain sounds that resonate at certain frequencies, that if you say. Now there's the sound, almost like the sound of the universe. Om. It's almost like your mouth is open. Ah. Om. Om resonates at about a 700, very, very high. A-U-M resonates very much lower. So don't say Om. I almost said it there for a second, but it's Om. It's almost like you're making a sound and then your mouth is just slowly closing. So you don't have to try to go Om. It's more like Om. That's why it's like the sound of the universe. It's one of the only symbols you don't have to use your tongue for. So it's more so just the sound. The sound Om resonates at a very high frequency. So if you want to raise your frequency, one thing you could do is certain type of mantras. Mantras are vibrational hacks in a way, and it's a level of resonance that then begins to tune yourself to that vibration of Om. And think about it. Think about vibration of syllables or these sounds, and other people that have also done the same thing. Most people that do Om are doing it with some type of spiritual intention. So it's almost like there's this energy field around the planet, and whenever you're saying Om, you're linking to the energy fields of all these other people, even people from thousands of years ago that have said Om, because there's an energy field resonance there. Now, when I think of this as well, when I went to a Bashar conference, I asked Bashar about this. I said, I had this feeling that when you listen to like certain rap music or certain catchy tunes, you get them stuck in your head. You're picking up on other people who have listened to the same music. You're picking up on the momentum of that. So for example, you get some materialistic song stuck in your head. There may be a lot of other people that listen and resonate with that song that are thinking it, and it's almost like it's easier for you to pick up on their thoughts because of the electromagnetic energy that you're picking up on. So this is something I think of in the form of resonance. Now, when you do something like a sacred sound like Om, many people that are doing so with the divine spiritual intention. You pick up on that frequency. So saying Om every single day can be and not just saying it, but doing Om with spiritual intention of connecting to your heart. Doing that every day. If you'd like, let me know. Maybe I'll make a meditation for it where I Om for a certain amount of time with some music in the background, and you do it with me every day. Maybe we'll do like a 15-minute meditation for that. And it'll help you and help us all to raise our frequency, especially with the intention, the collective intention as well. So this is something that I found to be kind of a weird hack, but nonetheless it really works. And what makes it weird is the way it's a different angle than we've probably ever heard it. It's like, oh, you say mantras, you get a certain result. It's been around for thousands of years. But understanding the mechanics that it's an energy field that we're picking up on, and you pick up on the divine intention of everyone else that do it, it changes the game a little bit. Now, the third weird vibrational hack, this one really is weird. You may have seen me in my Instagram stories. I do this weird thing. And I used to do this in public too. I would see how much I could get away with it. I say the word belly button. It's the most random word you could ever hear, and that's the beauty of it, to be honest with you. But what I would do is, there's a long story behind it, but it's the word belly button has no real meaning as to the reason I say it. But sometimes what I do is when I'm in conversation, what I used to do when I was in conversation with people is I'd be talking to them, and then as I was explaining something, what I would do is I would insert the word belly button, just like I did a second ago. But if you do it a certain way, the brain doesn't pick up on it if you don't know it's coming. Now, the reason I would do that is because it's a pattern interrupt. If they even catch it. A lot of people don't even catch it. But for me, it was almost like self-amusement. But belly button, to me, is a form of self-amusement of saying something that really has no meaning. There's a story about it, and one of the reasons I say it a lot, actually, is I used to work at Barney's New York in women's shoes. If you want like the rundown story of it. I used to work at Barney's New York in women's shoes, which is a very high-end place, $1,200 pair of shoes, very expensive, so I helped a very wealthy clientele. And sometimes you get bored, so sometimes what I would do is I would kind of see in conversation how much I get away with just saying it. Not in a mean way whatsoever, not to demean anybody, but just to see. Sometimes people caught up on it, sometimes people didn't. It was also a way of increasing my own state and bring me in a high vibration. Put me into like a fun mood, you know? And what I would do is everyone kind of knew the purpose of it. There was no purpose of the word belly button. It was just fun and light. It was just something I said just to kind of wake myself up, and it would wake other people up out of the kind of the autopilot mind. Well, eventually it caught on. It wasn't just me in women's shoes. It was like almost everyone in women's shoes would try to do it with customers because it was kind of funny. We thought it was funny, at least. And what happened is eventually somebody took it too far. There was somebody I worked with. What he did was he got into someone's email. Someone left their email up when they were emailing customers, and he changed her header so that it said her name and then it said belly button under that. So she was sending emails out to customers and it said belly button. Well, that person then sent an email to the store manager, not knowing it said belly button, and the store manager saw the word belly button and said, "Why is there belly button in your email?" And then she said, "Everyone in the department's saying the word belly button is some dumb thing they're doing, blah, 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 blah." So automatically, most people thought it was me that went in their email and did it, even though I would never have done that. So what happens, we all got called up to the office, and we got told that if we ever said the word belly button again, we'd all get fired. So we were suppressed from saying the word belly button. And there was no meaning behind belly button other than it was just for self-amusement. However, what I did is the rest of the time I was there, I worked there another year, I never said the word belly button. But to me it was just kind of funny. It was kind of funny that it became that much of a thing to where we couldn't say the word belly button. I remember us all getting pulled in and they're like, "So what is this thing with belly button?" And everyone was kind of like, it's just like, you know, we didn't really know what to say, you know what I mean? But it's really random. So now I say it because I just think it's self-amusement, but it also breaks up and wakes me up from the autopilot mind, and it has the potential to do the same for other people. So I've kind of created a little pendulum around this idea of belly button just because it has no meaning. When you do things that have no meaning, it actually increases your frequency when you do things for the sake of doing them. So the word belly button really has, all words have no meaning other than the meaning we give it. But when you do things like this to increase your state, to have fun, it will increase your vibration. So have your form of belly button, whatever that is. Have your form of belly button and understand that as you apply that, you begin to increase your own frequency and you begin to feel in a higher vibrational state. So the 3 vibrational hacks that I have for you is, first off, using that of finding a high vibrational person. You can consume their content, pay attention, focus on them, only watch YouTubers that you believe have a high vibration for a majority of the time. At the same time, maybe have a picture of somebody that represents that divine essence to you, like I have of Yogananda. And focus on developing the qualities inside of your heart that are similar to that which you want to be similar to. and tap into your heart and set a divine intention to connect with that spiritual energy within you. Secondly, use mantras, use Om. I will put that let me know if you want me to make an Om meditation of me Oming and then putting a certain vibrational frequency into it for like 15 to 20 minutes, and let me know how long you think of a time period as well that you think we should do it, 10, 15, 20 minutes or more. And then thirdly, focus on something that has no meaning, that's a pattern interrupt that allows you to wake up from this autopilot mind, and by doing so, you'll increase your vibration more than ever. So if you want to see, I have a lot more videos like this coming, and the only way you can see the daily videos is if you turn on the notifications. It's the way YouTube does it now. So if you want to see the videos I have coming out, go ahead and hit the notification bell, and I'll be sharing those with you shortly. Other than that, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.